Today is a very auspicious day, Disappearance Day of Srila Raghunandan Thakur and also Banshidas Babaji Maharaj. Our Gurudev wrote their biographies. Srila Raghunandan Thakur, Vyuhas Tritiyah Pradyumnah Priya Narma Sako Bhavat, Chakralila Sakhayam Yorada Madhavayor Braje, Shri Chaitanya Dvaita Tanu Sa Eva Raghunandana. The third member of the Chatur Vyuha, Pradyumna, took part in Radha Madhava's Lila in Braja as Krishna's intimate friend or Priya Narmasaka. He has now appeared as Raghunandan, whose body is not different from that of Shri Chaitanya. Gaur Ganadesh Devika. Krishna expanded himself in Dwaraka into 4 forms: Vasudev, Shankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. That Pradyumna, he is not different from Krishna, son. He also has another form in Vrindavan as a Priya Narmasaka. Here, Radha Madhava Lila, because Priya Narmasakas are special type of sakas, cowherd boys, friends. They are also assisting in Krishna's Madhur Jalila, means his pastimes with the gopis. Not all cowherd boys are assisting in those lilas, but these Priya Narmasakas they are. That is why it is said he took part in Radha Madhava's lila in Vrindavan as Priya Narmasaka. Subal is the chief among them. They are serving like Manjaris, they are serving from the side of Radha, and Priya Narmasakas are serving from the side of Krishna. And when they are serving in that lila, their mood is not of like male, but of like a Sakhi mood. And they are also taking shelter of gopis. So he's from village of Shrikanda, that is very famous village. Many Mahaprabhu's associates came from there. Prominent of them are Narahari, Mukunda and Raghunandan. So Mukunda was father of Raghunandan. He was also pure devotee. He was the Ayurvedic doctor, and once when he was treating one king, he just saw one peacock feather, and that reminded him of Krishna, and so powerful was that he fainted. So he was a great devotee, and also all these devotees from Shrikanda, they used to come every year to Puri to participate in Mahaprabhu's Leelas of Ratha Yatra, Gundicha cleaning, all this. So one time Mahaprabhu also, he asked, when they were in Puri, I don't know whether Raghunandan is your son or you are his father, or he is your father and you are his son. I cannot decide. I'm not clear on that. Then Mukunda said, no, he is my father, I'm his son, because from whom we get devotion, he is our superior. So devotees, they are always humble, and they will always, without envy, give respect to other devotees. And for this point also he showed that superiority or inferiority is not based on any bodily age or based on any material like money, beauty, which family one is born, high or low, like this. That is according to material consideration. But in spiritual consideration, one who is more advanced in devotion, he is superior. That is why Shukadev Goswami, he was only 16 years age bodily. But when he entered there, all the old sadhus, old sages, they all stood up and they bowed down to him, because Atma is there. So that does not depend on any bodily things or what kind of property. Even Prahlad Maharaj, when all demigods, they were praying to Supreme Lord, but they could not pacify him, Nrishingadev. But when Prahlad came, he was pacified. Then Prahlad, in his glorification of Nrishingadev, he said, now I understood that they are all elevated persons in Satyaguna, but they could not pacify you. But I am a demon. How I could satisfy you? Now I understand it is only because I got a drop of devotion from Narad Goswami. That is pleasing you. So according to devotion, it is gradation. And why Mukunda said this? Because they made this lila that one day Mukunda had to go to some distant place and he would not be back till lunchtime to offer bhoga to their family deity Gopinath. So he told to his wife, you should cook, and he told to his son, in this house we are worshipping Gopinath, so you will have to offer bhoga today. You give him to eat. And just this he told him, no any mantras, nothing, because he's a small boy. So when Mukunda left, then Raghunandan, what mother cooked, he took to the temple room and offered to Gopinath, and he said, oh Gopinath, you please eat. But Gopinath did not show anything. So Raghunandan was sad, and again he said, you please eat. But Gopinath not eating. Means we cannot see with these eyes. But here it was meant like that, this lila. Then Raghunath said, why you are not eating? My father ordered me that I should give you food. So why you are not eating? Please eat. And still did not eat. Then Raghunandan started to cry, and with great eagerness he was offering, you please eat, you please eat. Then Gopinath actually ate. Every time Gopinath is actually eating, but it is not visible to our eyes how he's eating. But at this time he showed this lila also in manifested form. So he was eating and he took everything and there was no prasad. But Raghunandan was very happy. Then he brought the plate to mother and mother was surprised. She said, where is prasad? Then he said, no, Krishna took everything. There are no remnants. Then mother thought, oh, he's a small child. He took himself before offering, or after offering, he ate everything. Then he said, no, I did not eat. Gopinath ate everything. Then when Mukunda came back home, then wife told him, and Mukunda also asked, and Raghunandan said, yes, he ate everything. So Mukunda understood, he's a small boy, he's not making things up. So then he said, can you offer again something? Then he said, yes, I can do. So he gave him some ladus and told him to offer, and then Mukunda hid himself in behind something, so that Raghunandan could not see, but still he could see Gopinath. And Raghunandan again, he was crying, you please eat ladu. And for ladu, you don't need to sit down and eat. If you have rice, dal, sabji, everything, you have to sit. But for ladu is a small thing. You can standing, you can eat. So Gopinath took that ladu and was eating ladus. Then when Mukunda was surprised and he wanted to see, then at that time Gopinath did not take more. Only half remained to show that really I am eating. It is not false. Really I am eating. Those who have transcendental eyes, they can see. So then Mukunda was bowing down to Raghunandan and was very happy. So that is why Mukunda said we are getting devotion from him, because The thing is, simple-heartedness and devotion, that is necessary, not rituals and all this. That is not so important. The important is whether you offer with love. Then, the deity is still there, Gopinath, and half-eaten laddu is in his hand. And there were some other miraculous events that when Narahari Sarkar Thakur gave honey to Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu from a pond right next to his home, that pond became known as Madhu Pushkarini, means honey pond. And the legend is told that a Kadamba tree which grew right next to this pond always had two flowers blooming regardless of the season by Raghunandan's miraculous powers. It is not physical law, they are supreme. No. Krishna is making physical laws. He can change anytime he wants, and his devotees also. So this tree was giving fruit, means flower, whole season, whole year. And also, one day, Abhiram Thakur came to Sri Kanda and paid his obeisance to Raghunandan. Then he embraced him and melted with feelings of prema. Abhiram Thakur had that power if he will give dandavat to someone, if that devotee is not real devotee, but only having fake, like appearance to get some benefit, that devotee will die. And deity will be broken if it is not real Krishna there. So, but Raghunandan easily could survive his obeisance because he is a real devotee. Then he embraced him and melted with feelings of prema. Raghunandan started to dance and sing kirtan, and while doing so, one of his ankle bells slipped from his foot and went flying off, landing 4 miles away in Akai Ghat, near his disciple Krishna Das's house. Later, in order to commemorate the event, a tank was excavated in that village and given the name Nupur Kund. Ankle bell's name in Sanskrit is Nupur. Mahaprabhu, the father of Sankirtan, gave his adopted son, Raghunandan Thakur, the authority to offer the garland on the day before the Sankirtan Yagya, on the Adivas day, and to make the final offering at the Yagya's end. Raghunandan Thakur accompanied the Bengali devotees to Puri every year during the Chaturmasya. He would dance with his uncle Narahari. Narahari and Mukunda, they are brothers. At the Ratha Yatra festival, in the group formed by the residents of Sri Kanda. He participated in the Keturi festival organized by Narottam Das Thakur, at Gadadhar Das's festival in Katwa, and at the commemorative festival for Narahari Sarkar Thakur in Sri Kanda. From Bhakti Ratnakar, some people said, anyone who is dear to Raghunandan will win Mahaprabhu's mercy for life after life. Others said, Raghunandan is so merciful that he gives life to the humblest and fallen. Some said, what humility! There is no one who is his equal. And others, he is as beautiful as Cupid himself. And here also it is mentioned that Srila Raghunandan Thakur had great affection for Srinivasacharya, and before he disappeared, Raghunandan, he consoled Srinivasacharya, and he said that now after the disappearance of Mahaprabhu and Nityananda and associates, there will be some difficult period, but he should not be discouraged. Devotees, they will have some doubts and like this, but don't let this worry you. Lord Gauranga will accomplish many great works through you. I bless you that you remain long on this earth and that you and your followers protect our Lord's religion. Those who are opposed to devotion to Krishna will become devotees by your influence, and they will take shelter of you. This is from Bhakti Ratnakar. So Srinivasacharya is also not ordinary persons. He was preaching everywhere. Though 2 times married householder, but he's a pure devotee. Mahaprabhu so says, and he was awakening many sleeping souls. Raghunandan Thakur bequeathed the service of his Gaur Gopal deity to his son Kanai Thakur, and then left this world on the 4th day of the waxing moon, Shukla Chaturthi, means today, in the month of Shravan. Kanai Thakur gave a feast as a part of his father's last rites. Raghunandan slowly became hidden to mortal eyes while repeating the names of Sri Krishna Chaitanya again and again. How glorious is that day of Shravan Shukla Chaturthi! Will anyone not sing the glories of Raghunandan Thakur? So today is his disappearance day. I am bowing down to Raghunandan Thakur and praying his causeless mercy to forgive all my offenses and to bestow service of his lotus feet and the lotus feet of Gaur Nityananda Prabhu, Radha Krishna. By the grace of pure devotees, our obstacles in pure devotion means other desires. They can be removed, and real desires, that is for the service of Krishna, they will be awakened and increased. So for that reason, we should always sing the glories of real Vaishnavas and pray for their mercy and serve them. Then we can awake devotion. Then also today is the disappearance day of Vamsidas Babaji Maharaj. He is from Mymensingh district. He appeared there. That is in Bangladesh, near the city of Jamalpur. From there he came to Navadip, and he was a Paramahansa Vaishnava who acted in the manner of an Avadhut. Avadhut means one who has shaken free from all worldly feeling and obligation. He does not care for social conventions, particularly the Varna Ashram Dharma, and he is quite eccentric in his behavior. Nityananda Prabhu is often characterized as an Avadhut. And he lived in Navadip under a tree on the banks of Ganges, demonstrating a very high standard of renunciation. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur was attracted by his Paramahansa Vaishnava behavior and his disregard for the rules and regulations of society at large. As we heard in Gita, there are different stages of following Shastra. So first level is to follow the rules of Varna Ashram Dharma. They are meant for gradual advancement like this. But those who are already in attachment to Krishna, that is in Raga Marg, they need not follow those things because they are already situated in supreme Dharma. So some devotees, for the sake of being example to others, they will follow these rules, but not all like him. Even he was not following the rules of Vaidhi Bhakti because he was already in Raganuga established. Prabhupada was following Vaidhi Bhakti externally and also teaching others because of eligibility. But he had respect. Prabhupada is also in Raga Marg, but he had to act as a charjo, as a teacher. So, but he could recognize the Raga Raga mark of Banshidas Babaji, one who is not in Raga mark cannot understand another Raga mark devotee. But Prabhupada is there, so he understood. But he had this service to do for us conditioned souls, so he did not allow his disciples to go near Babaji Maharaj out of compassion, because we might judge him wrongly. We are given some rules for our gradual advancement, rules and regulations, but he's not following those rules. So we might think, oh, he's not a Vaishnava. That is the danger. Because we would not be able to understand his raga mark, or we would maybe try to imitate him, but that is not for us, it is for those who are on that level. So all these difficulties would come. So Prabhupada, he would bow down from distance, and also said to his disciples, you bow down from distance. He's a pure devotee, highest platform, but you don't go near him because you might judge wrongly. And then you would commit offenses, and that would be detrimental. So Prabhupada, in order to protect them from committing offense, he did not allow. Yes. The primary purpose of the rules and regulations is to bring pleasure to Sri Radha Govinda. That is on that platform. We are now in Anarthas and Aparadas and this. And so we need guidance of rules and regulations, how to serve them. But he's already in natural devotion, and sometimes that natural devotion, they're doing something to please Supreme Lord, which may be against Vaidhi, but the purpose of devotion is not lost, and that is higher. So they are not committing anything wrong. They are doing better than those in Vaidhi, but we may not understand. And he also had two bags. In one, he kept the Gaur Nityananda ditties, and in one, Radha Krishna. No temple, but in bag, like Lokanatha Goswami. And sometimes he would take them out, and he would regularly worship them, taking them out of bags and serving them mentally with mantras. You can mentally offer, like if you don't have coconut, you can mentally offer. That is also accepted. Goswamis also, they are worshipping like this. That is superior status. And mentally they are offering kir, so he would also mentally do seva, but uttering those mantras for offering. Then after the worship, he would place the deities back in their bags. On occasion, he would leave them outside so that people could look at them, means to give darshan. Once in a while, he would offer tobacco to Radha Govinda in a hookah, that is that pipe, but not to Nitai Gaurango, because Radha Krishna, they are playing the pastimes of being the enjoyer, so they are also chewing that betel nut and like this, but it is transcendental. But Gaur Nityananda, they are playing the part of being acharyas, teachers, devotees, so to them he did not offer. Mahaprabhu never smoked anything, because that is prohibited, intoxication. So he did not do Gaur Nityananda. Many people would bring offerings of rice, fruits, vegetables, flour, bananas, but Babaji Maharaj would ignore them. When he noticed an accumulation of such offerings, he would mentally offer them to his deities and then distribute the remnants to whoever happened to be present. Who can understand such enigmatic behavior? Babaji Maharaj was tall enough to be able to pick fruits for his puja from the high branches of a tree without making use of ladders or other paraphernalia. On one occasion, he fell from a tree, and from that time on, he took on the guise of a lame person. He only wore a kopin, means a strip of cloth covering his private parts, and left his hair and beard uncut and unkept. So this was only his cloth, nothing else, and very long beard. You can see the photos everywhere of Vamsidas Babaji. Because he's always serving Radha Krishna, no necessity of these bodily things. And he does not care for anything in this world. He's not playing the role of acharya for a certain level of people. So he can just do in this way. And he was not only staying in Navadip, he also used to do parikrama to holy places in India. And also when he was traveling, whenever he saw some banyan tree, he would think, oh, it is Banshi Bhat, that is in Vrindavan, where Krishna played his flute, or he is playing his flute to attract all the gopis under banyan tree. That is called Banshi Bhat. Bhat is banyan tree and Banshi means flute. So he was always in that mood. Like Mahaprabhu, whenever he saw any mountain, he thought it is Govardhan. Or any river, it is Jamuna. Like that, Babaji Maharaj, he was always in Krishna consciousness. Deep Krishna consciousness. So whenever he would see one banyan tree, he would think, oh, it is Banshibat, and he would go there and stay under that Banshibat tree and do bhajan. He would not move, only after some time. So he went to Vrindavan and also Benares and Ayodhya and Katwa and Prayag, Bishramgat in Mathura, Banshibat, Vrindavan, Govindaji temple, Kalyadaha, Surjakund, many different places he went. Everywhere he went, he remained absorbed in chanting the holy names and meditating on Krishna's form and pastimes. After 3 months, he returned to Navadip Dham in the month of Jyeshta. Those who traveled with Babaji Maharaj recounted that when wandering through Brajamandal, he would sometimes sing songs about Krishna's pastimes, sometimes glorify Navadip Dham, sometimes chant loudly, sometimes laugh madly, sometimes he would babble incoherently, and oftentimes he would remain completely silent. That is one symptom that you are speaking something no one can understand, out of ecstasy, incoherent speech. When visiting a temple, he was often seen muttering confidentially to the deities, disclosing some personal sentiment to them. All in all, his companions were charmed by his devotional absorption. And he also traveled in Bengal to Ambika Kalna, Karakpur, Baleshwar, Soro, Badrak, that is in Orissa, Korda, Road, Purushottam, Puri. Afterwards, he again visited Gaya, Kashi, Saidpur, Patna, Munger, etc. And also, after traveling to all these places, some devotees from his birthplace in Majidpur invited him to come for a visit. He acquiesced to their enthusiasm, but found little pleasure in going. He said that it was a place which the Pandavas had neglected. Pandavas are good, and Duryodhana is not good, and his group. So Pandavas did not go there. And also here Gurudev wrote that Parangurudev also one time he heard that was in Mednipur city where our Shyamananda Gauriya Mat is there. So Parangurudev was staying there, And he heard that Babaji Maharaj was passing there, and immediately Parangurudev invited him to come for prasad in the mat. So because Parangurudev is disciple of Prabhupada and Banshidas Babaji Maharaj had great faith in Prabhupada, he said, yes, I will come. But Parangurudev, he made all arrangements for prasad, and there was arati, noontime arati and everything, but Babaji Maharaj did not come. So then Parangurudev went to search for him in that city with disciples, and he saw that Babaji Maharaj one time he saw there one banyan tree, and he thought it is Banshibat. So he went there and stayed there. He totally forgot that he said that he will go there. And he also made one kheer offering there to his deities. So when Parangurudev came there, he bowed down to him, but Parangurudev was not angry on him. You said you will come, we cooked so much, and then you are not coming. Parangurudev is not like this conditioned soul. He is a servant of Krishna and devotees. Banshidas Babaji Maharaj is superior and senior. So he did not, but he bowed down to him and praying his grace. Then Babaji Maharaj gave him that kheer prasad, and Parangurudev took with great honor and respect. And he said that Gurudev wrote here, I often heard Gurudev say how delicious the sweet rice tasted that day. So, because they are in Raga mark, what they will think for the service of Krishna, that they will do. They are spontaneously doing. So, Parangurudev submitted to his idea. Not that he became angry why you didn't come. Because they have no separate desire. They are pure devotees. And also Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Gosai Maharaj, he met Banshidas Babaji many times, and he saw that many people, they would give those items for offering, and one day one cow entered there and she ate all the fruits, and Babaji Maharaj was laughing loudly and very happy. Then Puri Maharaj said, I asked Baba's disciple, whose name was Purna or Punya, why Baba was laughing. He said, last night a thief stole all the deities' offering plate, puja plate, cooking pots, etc. Not the deities, but the articles meant for the worship, utensils and everything, that was stolen. And now a cow has come and eaten all the fruits meant for worship. So he is beside himself with joy and is laughing and saying, one thief gives and another thief takes away. Krishna is the supreme thief. Krishna is giving everything, and that is one thief he gave, another thief he took. So they are always in Krishna consciousness. They see that no one can do anything without the will of Krishna. So he saw it as a Lila of Krishna. So he was laughing and happy. And this is here Bhakti Data Madhav Maharaj contains. That is Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj in the book. This is, they made, I will have to send. And Babaji Maharaj never allowed anyone to touch his feet except once on the day after Falguni Purnima, the festival celebration of Jagannath Mishra. Babaji Maharaj was so ecstatic that he forgot his rule and became as generous as a desire tree. So on that day, I was fortunate enough to get the dust of his lotus feet. I also had the good fortune of getting his prasadi leftovers. So he himself was giving dust and also remnants. We have heard that Srila Babaji Maharaj took Babaji Besh, means the dress and initiation, from our Parangurudev, Srila Gaur Kishore Das, Babaji Maharaj. Babaji Maharaj relished hearing devotional songs of Narottam Thakur and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. One day he heard Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's couplet Tejiya Shayam Sukh Vichitra Palanka Kobe Brajer Dhulai Dusar Kobe Anga. When will I give up the pleasure of sleeping in a comfortable bed and roll in the dust of Vrindavan? This is the meaning of this line. One singer was singing this song. One Kirtaniya. Tears rolled down from the singer's eyes and his voice choked. Babaji Maharaj said, "You are only singing a song. It only bursts open for those who have burst open." Those who have opened their heart to Krishna, they will get that real meaning and that emotion of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We may sing with our mouth, but we are not feeling what is there in the song. Unless we burst open, means that devotion is awakened in us, then we can realize that feeling which Bhaktivinoda Thakur had in singing this song. So it is not only externally singing, but also we cannot imitate. We have to practice singing these devotional songs with sincerity and with submission. Then gradually, when we can purify ourselves and that devotion is fully awakened, then we will also realize and relish that meaning in realization. We may know word by word meaning, but what is actual meaning, that we have to realize. In other words, we only sing the songs of the Mahajanas, but we feel no emotion. When the dust of the holy places covers our bodies, we only think of brushing it off. We have no real idea of its value. Like we are singing, "Oh, when I will roll down in the dust of Vrindavan." But if we go to Vrindavan, then we will try to remove that dust. So we are only singing by mouth, not actually realizing the meaning. Otherwise, we would not do that. We would know the value of dust of Vrindavan. Another day, however, someone started singing one of these new-fangled, invented mantras that contradict Siddhanta and divine sentiment, Rasavas. Babaji Maharaj said, "That name is not allowed here." That name means Nitai Go Radha Shyam, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. This is one. Another is Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Shri Radhe Govinda. They are not right. According to Siddhanta and Rasa Tattva, we have to sing Panchatattva mantra and Mahamantra. One gentleman often came to visit Babaji Maharaj and kept asking him for his mercy. One day Baba finally became impatient. He took off his kopin and handed it to the gentleman and said, "You want my mercy? Here it is. Take it." The visitor was frightened by the manner in which Baba challenged him. We have heard that all perfections come from the grace of the Vaishnavas, but we do not have the sincerity necessary to really take their blessings when they are given. What is the use of repeatedly imploring them to be merciful if we don't mean it? One time Mahaprabhu also distributed the kopin of Nityananda Prabhu. First he sang the glories of Nityananda Prabhu, then he gave that as a mercy. We had there was one Gokul Das Babaji Maharaj, Prabhupada's disciple. He was very close with Bankshi Das Babaji Maharaj. He would visit him and they would speak Krishna Katha. And Babaji Maharaj was normally occupied with his devotional activities. He minded his own business and spoke little. He would talk to his deities, sometimes laughing, sometimes crying desperately, but he did not speak much to others. Many people would come to him. Often they would ask him questions. Mostly he remained silent, and if he took any notice at all, he would usually answer indirectly. If he did give spiritual instruction, he would rarely cite scripture, but always spoke from his personal realization. That is same. Personalization or what scripture is saying, that is same. One, because truth is truth. Only external presentation is different, but it is the same thing. But those who don't have realization, they need to remember what they heard from realized souls and what they read in bona fide shastras, and they have to repeat that. They should not speak from their own mind, because they have no realization. And they cannot teach others. They have to teach themselves, remind themselves by hearing from authoritative source and repeat that same message, not your own mind. But when one is realized soul, what he will say from his realization, that is the same as Shastra. In 2 or 3 short phrases, he would make a deep impression on the listener. Once he had a regular visitor who kept asking him, "How can we attain God?" Babaji Maharaj just remained silent, giving the questioner no answer. One day he suddenly looked at this visitor and asked him, "What do you want?" The fellow replied, "I want to find God." Babaji Maharaj answered in one word, "Cry." Our Gurudev used to explain this in Harikathas. We might give so many scriptural evidence and so many things, but Babaji Maharaj told the essence. When you will cry for him, when you will really want him and nothing else, you will cry. Then you can get him, otherwise not. Unless you want him, why he will come? And this wanting must be sincere and intense. Then you can get. So only one word, cry. Then you can get. Those who visited him occasionally reported the short answers that he gave to their questions. Some of these were noted down and are given here. Question: Baba, what should we do? Answer: if you worship Nitai, you will get Gaur. All your unhappiness will disappear and you will begin to feel real joy. Question: how can one become free from the demands of the senses? Answer: Shunya Govindarop aponi pola ve sop, Singha robe jatha kori gon. They will all flee at the sound of Govinda's name, just as the deer flee at the sound of the lion's roar. That is from Narottam Thakur's song. If you will take shelter of Krishna, call him, then it will be like a lion entering into forest, then all other animals, they will all fly away. Like that, our senses and all our enemies, other desires, all these things, they will go away. But we have to really chant from the core of heart. When a real name will appear, then this effect will be there. When we will really call Krishna. Baba, is there no happiness even in your world? Answer: there is no joy here unless you worship Gauranitai in this world. This is my eternal world. Eternal world means where you are worshipping Gauranitai, either in this world or in Goloka. Eternal world is where worship is going on. While this world of yours means where you are living in your consciousness, that is an illusion. It is not like that as you think. It is for my enjoyment and it is mine and like this. That is all illusion. Happiness in this world is like the laughing or crying of a dreaming baby, means has no value. Baby is dreaming and sometimes laughing, sometimes crying according to his dream, but it has no reality, no value. When he will wake up, everything is false and no one will take it very seriously that he's crying or laughing because he's dreaming. So this world is like this. Happiness in this world is like this, no value, actual, and it is temporary. Question: how can we tell if we have received the blessings of Krishna or the Vaishnavas? Je kore tomarash, tare koro sarvanash. You ruin everything for someone who aspires to attain you. One who aspires to attain Krishna, Krishna will ruin everything material for him, so that he will have to take shelter of Krishna, be dependent on him. That is Krishna's mercy. We think it is no, it is Krishna's mercy to help us to surrender to him. And by that surrender we will get real thing. Kaha ke o taka dei, kaharo taka nai. To some he gives money, while he makes others penniless. Toma stane aparade nahi paritran. There is, because according to necessity of devotee, how to increase his surrender, Krishna is giving. There is no pardon for an offense at your, means Vaishnava Thakur's feet. Why false vanity? Who will deliver you? To whom should I explain? Who will understand? I haven't got the slightest bit of attachment to the Vaishnavas. Why false vanity? I can rescue myself. Who will rescue? Vaishnava will rescue. You have to pray for his mercy and serve him. And to whom I should explain, who will understand this point? I haven't got the slightest bit of attachment to the Vaishnavas. I have no actual faith in Vaishnavas and attachment and service mode. I am proud, vain person, so I'm not taking shelter there. That is misfortune. There are only two, three more questions. I will read. How will I attain Krishna's mercy? Answer: you will get his mercy by crying. Who really cries? If you cry with tears of love, you will get the Lord's mercy. Mukhe boli hori, kaje anya kori, preme bari choke elona. I recite Hari's names, but I act otherwise. So the tears of love do not well up in my eyes, means I am hypocrite. I chant Krishna's name, but do sense enjoyment. That is not real devotion, so how tears will come? My devotion is not sincere. How can we be happy? In renunciation or in enjoyment? Answer: there are saintly persons on the Sarayu river, that is in Ayodhya, who chant the names of Sitaram. They are happy. They know no distress. Means if you do devotion to Supreme Lord, then you can be happy and no misery. Those who stay with King Durjodan know no joy. Durjodan is averse to Krishna and to devotees, so he cannot have any joy. Those who are with King Yudhishthir, Pandavas, their devotees, are happy. Devotees are happy, non-devotees are unhappy. Happiness and distress in this world, enjoyment and renunciation are twins. Some people enjoy and some renounce, but no one is actually happy. Happy are only devotees. And last question. Have you ever been to Mayapur? Answer, yes. Some call it Mayapur, some call it Navadip. There are buildings all over the Mayapur temple site, and the deity is worshipped under a neem tree. There, Sachi Mata and Jagannath Mishra and Nimaya. And also Gaur, Vishnu Priya, Lakshmi Priya, they are there worshipped. I once went to Mayapur with a Toran wrapper and a water pot. Sachinandan Gosai, means Mahaprabhu, came and took my water pot. I sat down and waited, and a few minutes later, Sachinandan Gosai came and gave it back. Then I came back here in that kulia. So you see, pure devotees, they have such experiences. They directly see Mahaprabhu and Mahaprabhu doing lilas with them. He came, took, and Babaji Maharaj's disappearance day was the Shravan Shukla Chaturthi, means today. So I am bowing down to Srila Banshidas Babaji Maharaj and praying for forgiveness for all offenses and for his causeless mercy to bestow the service of his lotus feet and the lotus feet of his object of worship, Gaur Nityananda Prabhu and Radha Krishna. I did not see Raghunandan Thakur nor Banshidas Babaji, but Gurudev is not different from them, appearing in same preceptorial channel. So I am remembering Gurudev and bowing down to him and praying his causeless mercy. Tomorrow we will continue with Gita.